Okay, slightly different video to what I normally do. Normally flying around the skies, capturing hopefully some great images. But today's the day, well actually a couple of days ago now, my new drone, DJI Mini 4 Pro. I'm going to say bye-bye to the Mini 2. That's going to be leaving me shortly. So I thought I could do a little bit of a comparison from just like a regular guy who's just, flies drones for a bit of fun. Just what I thought the differences might be. Like I know there's a lot of talk saying there's not much difference between the Mini 3 Pro and the Mini 4 Pro. But as I've had a Mini 2 now for nearly 2 years, wanted to kind of just upgrade and see how much of a difference there was. So I think the benefits might be worthwhile, certainly like the improved camera and a few other bits on there, like lending themselves to what I'm doing at the moment. So I thought I'd put them both side by side so you can have a look if you in the same position as me. I want to see what they all stack up against. First thing you see here is the controllers. Obviously the old Mini 2 controller, you'd attach your mobile phone to the back of it and that would be your screen, whereas the Mini 4 Pro comes with the screen that has, I think it's been around for a little while, or maybe a year or two. It's integrated. It's a lot better with the brightness on those sunny days where it reflects the glare. And it's a lot neater to have it all in one package, and a little bit less bulkier too by the time that phone's not added on. Thing I have noticed is that the layout's completely different. Well, not completely different, sorry, slightly different. Some of the functions that I was used to using, for example, flipping between camera and video, are not there anymore. Some slightly different buttons on the top here as well. Your camera and your video there on your left and your right, which obviously that wasn't the case, on this one. So it's getting a little bit more used to it. There's the button there for flipping the camera, whereas obviously they're on both sides now. So it's just getting a little bit more used to how that's going to how it's going to be when I start flying it. Just have to get a little bit used to it and see how that goes. The other things I noticed first straight off as well with these is the gimbal and camera protector is a lot more sturdier on this model, and you can see comes off super easy as well. But that's really robust piece of plastic, that as is the propeller guard, which is quite difficult to even just take off with one hand. It is doable, but it's a lot more, if I get this out, it's a lot more thicker than the old Mini 2 guard, which I've actually got to one side here, which is a bit more flimsy. So it's good to know that's protecting your craft. The other thing as well is the power on button on this one is here, and so it is accessible when you've got the propeller guards on there. You don't have to, as with the old Mini 2, you'd have to take everything off if you wanted to power the drone on to see even if it was powered on, because that would be covered. That's quite nifty. So I'm just going to open it up and have a look at it. Okay, so you can see there's a few different changes on the drone. Most notably for me is that the Pro version is a lot bigger than the old Mini 2 version. So definitely has a bit more bulk to it. I think main bits being the sensors, etc. on the top. Just give it that little bit more of a, more of a bulky look to it than the old Mini 2. The gimbal on this does go up as well as down, so I guess that leads to this open gap here, as well as flipping side to the side for those Instagram photos and videos, which are quite cool to do. Yeah, that was definitely one of the points for me that really interested me. As you can see as well, we've got the Omni sensors on the top, some vents at the back, quite chunky. And on the bottom here, we've also got the sensors as well on the bottom, so I need to obviously do some tests with that and see how that actually works out, for me, all these obstacles are actually going to be stopped. I know I've had a few close shaves in my time, so anything can reduce to crash is or the chances to crash is a bonus. But yeah, it's quite a nice looking drone. Let's spin it around. It's not on at the moment, hence the gimbal's pointing down, but got some filters, ND filters on there as well that I bought separately. They just screw up, they will kind of twist on. I think that's worth happening. It was definitely one of the best purchases I've had on my old Mini 2. So the battery chargers as well, a bit more of a chunkier pack. I think they do last slightly longer on this model, I think up to half an hour, but don't quote me on that. But I think that would be an advantage as well. Any kind of more flying time you can get out of it is really good. So yeah, that's the two side by side, so to speak. Going to get the drone out hopefully in a couple of days' time. It's just been raining a lot where I live, so I have to wait a little bit for that. But we'll get it out, get it up in the sky, and then see what the footage looks like, and then hopefully give you guys a bit more feedback on that. This is a video that I shot on one of my first flights, just having a look at the capabilities of the Mini 4 Pro and just seeing what it can do. One of the things I noticed as opposed to my old drone is that the clarity is a lot clearer. Even this like rough edit, I haven't altered it too much. The colours definitely like pop a little bit more. The drone as well itself feels a lot smoother. It was quite a windy day, as you can see with the waves when I was filming this, but in terms of its flight and its capability of moving it around the sky, yeah, it's a lot smoother and a lot easier to fly than the old Mini 2, which certainly is a good benefit. You see some of the different colours now, like, and as I fly up here, how much clearer that is. I've taken a screen grab for most of the rest of this video now. This is demonstrating the portrait mode that the Mini 4 Pro offers, where the camera flips over, which is really useful for doing like reels on Instagram, etc. If you look on the right hand side of the screen, just to the left of the red button and up one, there's a very easy button that you can just press there, and that will flick between portrait and landscape mode at the push of a button. Really easy to fly around and see exactly what you're filming with this. As you can see, when you flick over and go change the button, it literally just flicks straight back and gives you that landscape view. The screen itself, if you notice, is like a lot clearer than with the old Mini 2s. Just gone back into portrait mode here, just to fly over this island here. But if you can notice on the right of the screen, you see the H, which is pointing at where your home is all the time, which is really nice feature to have, especially if your landscape looks pretty similar for what you're filming in, and you're not quite sure exactly where you are, but hopefully that shouldn't be the case. If you are flying a drone, you can see there that I'm pinpointed as well with the H, so as I'm flying closer to myself, there's no misunderstanding that I'm flying the drone maybe to the wrong person, etc. Go back into landscape mode, and you can see that it's quite clear as we're coming in exactly where we are. But no, some nice upgrades there. This is me back flying over the windsurfers again. I'm getting the screen grab, but you can see this is me trying to use the active track on the windsurfers. Unfortunately, it wouldn't actually pick them up, which I was a bit surprised at. It might be me that needs to just like get a bit more used to flying the drone and using this mode, but it wasn't having it. So I decided to come and take it back to myself just to test it and use it on myself while I was just walking around. As you can see, I just put highlight at the bottom, on the bottom left, press go, and then it's following me while I'm on my little trek around the dunes. This is one test that I did with it. As you can see, the drone literally pulls itself round. You can follow it to, get it to follow you from behind, or you can get it to follow like a parallel version, and it'll just fly alongside you, which is quite a neat little feature that wasn't on the Mini 2. So yeah, I think I'll be making some use of this one. You notice well it goes up and down and brings itself into wherever you need it to be, although you can adjust the height yourself if you want to. This one was, or a similar version was on the Mini 2, where I'm going to use the POI button at the bottom right here and highlight this building by the lake, and then as you can see, if you see the little dial at the bottom, you can choose the speed that the drone will fly around it, or circumnavigate it, as the technical term might be. You can alter this and speed it up if you need to, like as you'll see myself do in a second, just to
just to make it move a little bit faster because it wasn't going quite fast enough. There we go, quite easy tap, and then we can speed that up to whatever speed we want, which is quite useful. Saves on having to like edit it in the future, you know, alter the speed there. So we can do it as we're flying around. It's nice and straight. I do like to personally fly the drones handheld myself without, you know, using too many of the features, but you know, if it's something you want that real clear crisp shot for, there's no harm in using something like this, I don't think. So speed it up again. So taking a little bit too long for my liking, but yeah, no, it's really super easy to use, so that's a good little feature. I also wanted to test out how far I could actually fly the drone. On the old Mini 2, I'd probably get 500-600 meters, and I'd be at like full distance, and I'd be losing signal. I did have like an extra antenna that gave me a bit more distance, got me up to about 1,000 meters with it. So I thought I'd try it out with this one and see how the Mini 4 gets on. Like I get up here to about 1,000 meters, and if you notice at the top right, no loss in signal whatsoever. There was obviously, as you can see at the top, like quite a windy day, as I've mentioned earlier, so this could have maybe impeded it a little bit in terms of how far it's flying. But I'd like to have a bit more of a longer test for this and see how far it gets. Over 1,000 meters in, no loss in signal whatsoever, which is like really good. Obviously quite clear on this bit of the day too. Then I decided to go back to the active track and put it on my car and see how it would cope with moving at a little bit more speed, using the functions exactly the same as before. And then just going to go drive it down this road in a minute and see how it copes with following the car, which it does pretty well, to be honest with you. Let it roll a bit further along and have a look. Should add while it's doing this as well, like the battery life is way improved on the Mini 2. It's saying about 30 minutes, which, although it might not seem like still a huge amount of time, like it's a massive difference when compared to what I was using it for before, where you'd be changing your batteries more often. Every little bit helps when you're up there and you want to get that great shot and you don't want to have to bring your drone back down because your battery's getting low. As you can see, it's keeping up pretty much with the car. I think I was doing about 30 down here, and it's having not too much issue, slightly maybe lagging behind, but that's okay, to be expected. Keeping that viewpoint up there. I've got it in follow mode here, so it's literally going to go right behind me. If you notice above the stop on the screen grab, there is a parallel mode, and that'll follow alongside the car, give you like that different angle. I want to turn it around, see what it would do here, and it does, after a short pause, start to come back behind the car. Though unfortunately, it is quite tree here, and if you notice, it does lose the car at one point, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, I'll forgive it for that. This is quite a nice little feature. You can actually turn the drone on while still keeping the propeller guard around it, which is a bit better when you're downloading. Apparently, if you don't have the propellers open though, it does slow down the download speed, but sometimes it's a bit fiddly having to take that off. I'm not sure how much that will affect the overheating of it though as well, because this propeller guard does like cover quite a lot of it. So it might be worth opening it if you're downloading a lot of information off it.
Just had a few issues trying to get the quick transfer working on my new DJI 4 Pro, but got it going now. I'm seeing getting some really fast download speeds on the quick transfer, over 31 megabytes a second we're at here, which is really fast. Like I said, I had a few issues trying to get it to connect and pair with my iPad. Ended up deleting the app, putting the app back in again, and I've had a bit more success now. So I've got these images coming through, so I'm going to have a look and see what we've actually got out of here and see what it looks like.